So how do the new Galaxy Buds 4 Pro stack up against the AirPods Pro 3? They both have the same $249 price tag. They're both cornerstones in their ecosystems. They both have Live Translate, a lot of the same features. But once you peel back a few layers, there are some pretty major differences between these earbuds. I polled everyone on my channel and said, what should I compare the Galaxy Buds 4 to? And the overwhelming majority of people said the AirPods Pro 3. So let's see why everyone was so interested in this comparison. After trying them side by side, I have a lot to say in this video. We'll get into an ANC test, which is quite interesting. We'll talk about the sound quality, the microphones, and of course, everything else I think you need to know when comparing these two pairs of earbuds. But I think we should probably start off with the design. You can see a fundamental difference in the designs here. The AirPods have a smaller case in 2 dimensions, but the Galaxy Buds are smaller in the 3rd dimension. The Galaxy Buds come in 3 different colors. You have white, black, and pink gold. And the AirPods, well, if you don't like white, you can also choose white. The AirPods also have a lanyard hook, which is aluminum, which is quite nice, and an aluminum hinge on the back, so slightly more premium materials in that sense. The Galaxy Buds do not have a lanyard hook or any visible aluminum on the outside. It's pretty much all plastic. But looking at the cases from the top, I actually really appreciate the transparent case or the transparent lid on the case of the Galaxy Buds. It allows you to see the Galaxy Buds in there and just know that they're definitely there when you grab the case and leave, so you don't end up getting on your flight, open up the case, and oops, you forgot to put your AirPods back. The Galaxy Buds also have a slightly different design language. We'll talk about actually, we could talk about it now. You can leave a comment and let me know which one you think looks better aesthetically. The AirPods are a little bit more minimal. It's kind of hard to talk about the aesthetics of AirPods because there's kind of this social aspect to it where so many people have AirPods that no one's even gonna really notice that you have AirPods. No one's gonna comment on, wow, those earbuds look different. Like, they're just AirPods. Whereas the Galaxy Buds, being newer, being less common, at least here in the States, they are more of a statement. And I kind of like the premium, like brushed metal design on the outside. Like I said, you can gut the white ones if you wanna look a little bit more like AirPods. The black ones, I think, look quite nice, and pink gold actually looks pretty good as well. Also, the case designs are quite different in how they sit on your desk, which is subtle, but after using these earbuds a lot, it's something that I've observed and it kind of does matter to me. So the AirPods, when you open them and set them down, the case always closes, which kind of goes back to what I was saying of if you take your AirPods out and set them somewhere, the case is already closed and you could forget your AirPods are not in there. The Galaxy Buds, on the other hand, can sit upright, can stay open, they could be charging, you can leave it open on your desk, use the earbuds, and yeah, they function quite well like that. And to put them in pairing mode, you have a hidden button tapping the front of the case. You'll see it blinks with the little hidden LED on the front, whereas the Galaxy Buds have a very obvious button on the back and an LED, which is also quite obvious on the front. To be honest, I think it's kind of sneaky and premium, and I like the way the AirPods did this. The AirPods also charge with USB Type-C, wireless charging, MagSafe, and Apple Watch chargers. So you have quite a few options when charging these. The Galaxy Buds charge with USB Type-C or with a wireless charger. They don't have any magnets and they don't charge with any kind of watch chargers. The AirPods case also has the advantage of precision finding and a speaker. So if you lose your case, not only can you use your iPhone to basically find it like an AirTag with precision locating, giving you an arrow and a distance to find them, but you can also play a sound on the speaker on the case, not just on the earbuds. If the earbuds are out, you can also play a sound on them, of course. The Galaxy Buds, on the other hand, I've been saying for a few generations, really need to add something like that. They have the ability to play the sound in the earbuds themselves if the earbuds fall out, but really no good precision locating features similar to the AirPods. The controls on these are unsurprisingly quite similar. They both have pinch controls, they have volume swipe controls, you have head gestures to nod and shake your head, and you have voice commands with the native voice assistants on both platforms. Although, if you're using a Samsung phone and the Galaxy Buds, you do have an advantage of being able to use a number of different voice assistants, whether that is Bixby, Gemini, or now Perplexity as well, whereas the AirPods, you're pretty much just stuck with Siri, and, well, Siri's got a little bit of work to do. As far as the fit and the comfort go, both of these stay in my ears similarly well during workouts. I don't have a problem with either of them falling out. The Galaxy Buds are slightly more comfortable to me, and I think that comes down to the fundamental difference in the ear tips. The AirPods have silicone-covered foam ear tips, or foam-filled silicone ear tips, if you want to think of it like that, and that means that they apply a bit of a gentle pressure, a little bit more of a pressure actually, in your ears, and they take a little bit more to get them in. You have to push a little bit harder, which is not uncomfortable, but I think it's less comfortable and convenient than the Galaxy Buds. But the reason Apple did that is because, well, I mean, foam does an excellent job at blocking sound. Think about any earplugs you might have used on a job site. And, well, I guess that brings us into the next category of the active noise cancellation, where you really start to see the wins from those ear tips. So 1, we've got the jet sound test. I played the sound of a jet at a set distance, turned the volume up until the earbuds were no longer able to comfortably block it out. The Galaxy Buds blocked up to about 59 decibels, which is very respectable, but the AirPods are pretty much top 2 or 3 in the industry right now. They blocked up to 65 decibels. So noticeably more powerful. I think anybody, even untrained ears, could try them both and say, yeah, the AirPods are definitely blocking more sound. However, I did fly just last week with the Galaxy Buds4 Pro, and it was a pleasant experience. I don't feel like they're lacking. I feel like it did a good enough job of blocking the sound that, it was really quite nice. But in the toughest environments, yeah, the AirPods did pull ahead. Test number 2 then is a speech test. I played an interview, turned up the volume until the earbuds, again, were no longer able to block it out. And the higher frequencies are less based on the algorithm and the ANC engine, and a lot more based on the ear tips. And here, again, the Galaxy Buds blocked 38 decibels, 4 decibels less than the AirPods, which were blocking 42 decibels. You could probably argue that you're able to get aftermarket ear tips for both of these and probably improve that quite significantly. Maybe I'll check it out. Usually Comply sells ear tips. I've worked with them in the past. So I'll put a link down below if I can find some foam ear tips from them for the Galaxy Buds, and I really think that would probably improve it a bunch. But again, ANC definitely leans towards AirPods 2-0 in this category. Then the third test is just like a silent room test. What if you're in a place that doesn't have a lot of sound? Like you just want it to be quiet. You don't want to have white noise or anything like that. The AirPods really have no white noise or hissing. The Galaxy Buds, if you listen closely, they do have marginally more noise on the Galaxy Buds 4 Pro compared to the AirPods. So unfortunately for the Galaxy Buds, this category goes to the AirPods. The transparency is also a similar story, kind of based on like the silent room test like I talked about. Both sound very natural. It sounds very, very good. Samsung also allows you to customize the level of the ambient sound. The AirPods do not, so I think that's a benefit there. But Apple, I think, also wins this one, in my personal opinion, due to the absence of white noise. The Galaxy Buds 4 Pro, although they don't have much white noise with the ANC, they definitely have measurably more white noise if you go to ambient sound mode and turn it up to the highest level, which I do because it sounds the most natural then. It's not like really amplified. It sounds pretty much on par volume-wise with the AirPods Pro 3. But a lot of people kind of conflate ANC and microphones blocking the background. Like they're kind of two different things. All right, so let's get into a couple microphone tests. Starting off with the Galaxy Buds 4 Pro, we're indoors and I'm recording this on the Galaxy S26 Ultra, which allows you to connect the earbuds to the camera app. And I think this is really interesting because they have a couple benefits with this. One, you're able to use your camera and set it like, far away and record yourself and use these as a microphone if you're okay with having that in your ear for the video. And you should get a pretty natural and clear sound. These also have the ability to record 360 audio. So if there's something moving by, your video is going to have a 360 audio experience that you could experience with these earbuds when you're playing it back. These also have 16 kilohertz audio, so should be fairly high resolution, but we'll see how these compare to the AirPods, and then we'll go outside to a tougher environment. So now these are the Apple AirPods Pro 3, again, indoors, so this should be a fairly easy situation for both of these earbuds. Outside, we'll see which one blocks more sound. I'm going to do a call. I'll do a Google Meet, just so I can use both Android and iPhone and get a similar experience there. And the video is going to be really low quality recording, but you'll hear how well these are able to block the background sounds in a very natural phone call type way. All right, so this is a microphone test outdoors with the Apple AirPods Pro 3. There's some noise behind me. It's not particularly windy, but we'll see how well this blocks out the sound in kind of a natural phone call setup like this. And now this is the microphone on the Galaxy Buds 4 Pro. Again, a lot of sound behind me, but we'll see if this is actually able to block it out in a natural way. So far, we've kind of been trading blows. A win for the AirPods, a win for the Galaxy Buds. The sound quality is going to kind of solidify a theme between the two of these, which is the Galaxy Buds give you more customization and more flexibility, whereas the AirPods are pretty rigid. Like they're really good, but there's not a whole lot you're going to be customizing with them. So getting into the sound quality, the Galaxy Buds 4 Pro have dual drivers. They've got like a tweeter and a woofer, which are improved over last year as well. So that should give you more of a kind of dynamic range available. The Galaxy Buds also have an EQ, which is a huge benefit. The AirPods don't have an EQ. You can get some workarounds, but there's no like just native EQ that's ready to use. We also have higher resolution codecs on the Galaxy Buds, but really only if you use Samsung phones. Kind of a bit of a downside. These both have SBC and AAC, the basic kind of low-res codecs, but for more high fidelity, you can use SSC, which is Samsung's scalable codec, I believe is what they call it. That's what that stands for, which gives you 24-bit 96 kilohertz audio. Unfortunately, only with Samsung phones. They didn't have LDAC on here. I'm not sure why they removed that, so if you're using like a Pixel phone or Sony or any other phone, you're not going to get that same high res. Either way, definitely higher resolution than the AirPods if you're connecting a Samsung phone to a Samsung Galaxy Buds. But the AirPods Pro 3 actually sound really good. The preference is going to depend on what kind of music you listen to. I think the Galaxy Buds are a bit darker. They have more of a bass emphasis, but they also have a bit of a, I guess if we're talking about my only downsides with the Galaxy Buds, they have a lot of bass and a lot of highs, but they kind of feel a little bit harsh up around, I want to say like 5,000 or 5 kilohertz. And they have a bit of a bass lift as well. I don't mind the bass lift. They're a little darker, but I think it can be really good with certain genres of music. And in the EQ, you can totally address that. So I think that's a big benefit. The AirPods are a bit more detailed and clean on the high end, kind of a more of a neutral curve, I would say. Personally, I like them both. They sound really good for a ton of different genres. So for this category, I have to give the win to Samsung just because they have higher resolution codecs and they have an EQ. Like if Apple just added an EQ, I think they could potentially win this category. As far as durability goes, these are both rated IP57 for the Buds, so that's better than most earbuds out there. As far as features go, this is an interesting one. These both have quite different features. The AirPods have some pretty massive ones that not many other earbuds in the industry have even tried to address. So they've got their kind of hearing suite. They've got like a hearing aid ability. They've got a hearing test on here, and they have a decibel limiter. So if you go into transparency mode and like their sounds are just really loud around you, it'll bring it down to a safer level inside your earbuds. The Galaxy Buds have something similar with their adaptive ANC, and both of these do have the ability to detect speech. So if you have ANC on and you start talking, if the setting's enabled, it'll turn on a transparency or ambient sound mode, turn your volume down, you can have a conversation, and then go back to your music afterwards. The Galaxy Buds also detect sirens, which could be beneficial if you're biking or walking on the side of a road. The AirPods also have live translate, as do the Galaxy Buds. They're both okay features. I don't know if I'm in the best position to try them a lot because I don't find myself translating all that often, but if you've used either one of them, you can leave a comment and I would love to see what your experience is. They both are kind of good. They're okay. I don't know if the translation is that accurate yet, but one thing that is very accurate, which I was quite surprised about with the AirPods Pro 3, is the heart rate sensor. These have a heart rate sensor in them, which is more accurate than most smartwatches I've tested, and I was very, very impressed by that. This could be beneficial for anyone who either doesn't want to wear a watch, or maybe you're doing something like, I don't know, boxing and like you have to wear gloves and it covers up your watch, or I don't know, whatever the situation is, it's kind of nice that you have a good, accurate heart rate sensor on the AirPods. The Galaxy Buds 4 Pro have customizable controls. That's a big thing that the AirPods don't really have. They also have Auracast, so that's another benefit if that is something that you think you'd be using. And both of these do have some features that are ecosystem specific. For example, audio sharing. If you have an iPhone and you have two pairs of AirPods or Beats and AirPods, for example, you can connect both to the same iPhone and play, two audio outputs at once. Galaxy phones can already do that with two of any Bluetooth devices. Doesn't have to be Galaxy Buds. Both of these do have the ability to play one earbud at a time. They both have their own voice assistants. They've got spatial audio. They have voice detection. A lot of the similar standard features you would expect. One complaint with both of them though, they both have their seamless switching within the ecosystems, but neither one of these has true multi-point connectivity, which I think is a huge frustration. If I have like a Dell laptop and either one of these devices, it's not going to switch seamlessly between my iPhone and my Dell laptop, or my Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra and my Dell laptop. I mean, that's their ecosystem. That's the way it works. The price on these, like I said, the MSRP is $249 for both of them. They're very likely to see a lot of very competitive sales between them, so I'll put links in the description down below. But who actually won this? I mean, I know people get mad when I say it depends. It definitely does, though. If you care a lot more about ANC, the AirPods definitely won. If you care a lot more about customization or appearance, the Galaxy Buds definitely give you more options. For me personally, I am going to continue using the Galaxy Buds because they're new and I really want to test them and compare to different devices. But if you want to see more comparisons, like I said, I polled everyone and we've got a couple other options probably coming soon. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. Hope you enjoyed this video. It was kind of more of a fun video. It wasn't meant to be like which one to buy because obviously if you're in the Samsung ecosystem, you can't update AirPods. Even though they can connect, you're not going to be able to do much with them. And the other way around is also true. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next video.